If willpower was enough, you would have quit porn already. So stop telling yourself you just need more discipline. Let me ask you something brutally honest. How many times have you said, "This is the last time," and meant it, only to relapse days later? That's not weakness, that's neurochemistry. Porn addiction is not about sex. It's about your brain being overstimulated, rewired, and slowly desensitized by unnatural dopamine spikes. And here's the scary part. The longer this goes on, the harder it becomes to feel pleasure from normal life, real relationships, real intimacy, real achievement. Most advice tells you to block sites, stay busy, pray harder, try harder. That's like covering a fire alarm while your house is still burning. In this video, I'm going to show you what's actually happening inside your brain, why cravings feel automatic, and how to break this cycle at the root, not by fighting yourself, but by understanding the system controlling you. If you're tired of relapsing, stay with me. Let's clear something up immediately. Porn addiction is not primarily about sex, and it's definitely not about having a dirty mind. The biggest mistake people make is thinking the problem is the content. So they focus on deleting apps, installing blockers, avoiding triggers, or distracting themselves. And yes, those tools can help temporarily, but they don't solve the real issue. Because the real issue isn't what you're watching. It's what porn is doing to your reward system. Most modern porn delivers something your brain was never designed to handle. Unlimited novelty, endless variety, extreme stimulation, available instantly. Every click gives you a new face, a new scenario, a new spike of dopamine. And dopamine is not the pleasure chemical, like people often say. Dopamine is the motivation and anticipation chemical. It's what makes you want more. So what happens when your brain gets repeated, unnatural dopamine surges? It adapts. Your brain lowers its sensitivity. It downregulates dopamine receptors. In simple terms, what used to excite you doesn't hit the same anymore. This is why over time, you need more extreme content. Sessions get longer. Normal intimacy feels less stimulating. Everyday life feels flat or boring. But instead of recognizing this as neuroadaptation, people blame themselves. I'm just weak. I have no discipline. I'm broken. No, your brain is doing exactly what it's biologically programmed to do. Adapt to overstimulation. Here's another myth. If I just resist long enough, the urges will disappear. That's not entirely true either. White-knuckling through cravings without understanding the underlying brain changes often leads to relapse. Because you're trying to suppress a neurological drive without recalibrating the system that created it. Think of it like this. If you drink extremely sugary drinks every day, your taste buds become desensitized. Fruit starts to taste bland. Water feels boring. The solution isn't to scream at yourself for wanting sugar. The solution is to gradually restore sensitivity. Porn addiction works the same way. It's not about morality. It's not about shame. It's not about trying harder. It's about dopamine dysregulation. And until you address that root cause, the overstimulated reward circuit, you'll keep fighting cravings with motivation alone. And motivation always runs out. Now let's go deeper. To understand why quitting feels so hard, you need to understand how your brain's reward circuit actually works. Inside your brain, there's a pathway often called the reward system. The key player here is dopamine. But dopamine isn't about pleasure itself. It's about learning, motivation, and reinforcement. When you do something beneficial for survival, eating, social bonding, achieving a goal, dopamine rises. Your brain takes note. This is important. Do it again. That's how habits are formed. Now here's where porn changes the equation. Porn delivers dopamine levels far beyond what natural rewards typically produce. And it does it repeatedly, not once, not occasionally, but often in rapid succession, click after click, novelty after novelty. Each new image resets the dopamine spike. Your brain interprets this as, this is extremely important for survival. But here's the catch. Your brain cannot distinguish between digital superstimulus and real-world reward. It just responds to intensity and novelty. Over time, three major biological changes begin to happen. First, dopamine receptor downregulation. Your brain reduces the number or sensitivity of dopamine receptors to protect itself from overstimulation. This means normal pleasures, conversation, exercise, real intimacy feel weaker. Second, sensitization to cues. While your response to normal life weakens, your brain becomes hypersensitive to porn-related triggers, a notification, a moment of boredom, a specific emotion. These cues activate powerful craving circuits. This is why urges can feel automatic. Third, prefrontal cortex weakening. The prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, impulse control, and long-term thinking. Chronic overstimulation reduces its activity and efficiency. That means the system designed to say stop becomes less effective over time. So what you experience as "I lack discipline" is often reduced executive control combined with a hypersensitized reward circuit. That's biology, not moral failure. Let me give you a simple analogy. Imagine your brain as a sound system. At first, normal life is played at volume level 5. It feels good, balanced. Then, porn comes in at volume level 15. Your brain responds by turning down the overall sensitivity of the speakers so they don't blow out. Now everything else sounds like level 2. Life feels dull. Motivation drops. You feel flat. So what do? You turn back to the only thing loud enough to break through: porn. That's the cycle. And here's the most important part. This process is reversible. The brain is plastic. Neuroplasticity works both ways. If repeated overstimulation can rewire your brain in one direction, consistent recalibration can rewire it back. But you cannot shame your way out of a neurochemical adaptation. You have to understand the mechanism and then work with your biology instead of against it. Now let's talk about what actually works. Not motivation, not shame, not just trying harder. If the root problem is dopamine dysregulation, then the solution is dopamine recalibration. Here's how you start. Number 1, remove extreme stimulation completely. This is non-negotiable. You cannot reset your reward system while continuing to flood it with super stimuli. That means eliminating porn entirely, not less extreme porn, not just once in a while, total removal. Your brain needs space to resensitize. Number 2, expect withdrawal and normalize it. When dopamine drops back to baseline, you may feel flat, irritable, restless, unmotivated. This is temporary. It's not proof that you need porn. It's proof your brain is recalibrating. Understanding this prevents panic-driven relapse. Number 3, replace artificial dopamine with natural dopamine. Exercise is one of the most powerful tools here. Resistance training, sprinting, cold exposure, these increase dopamine receptor sensitivity over time. Sunlight in the morning regulates circadian rhythm and stabilizes mood chemistry. Deep social connection stimulates oxytocin, which counterbalances compulsive reward-seeking behavior. You're not just quitting something, you're rebuilding your reward system. Number 4, reduce idle time and emotional triggers. Boredom, loneliness, stress, and fatigue are common relapse drivers. Create friction between urge and action. Move your phone out of the bedroom. Use website blockers as a support tool. Have a pre-decided response when urges hit. Push-ups, a walk, calling someone, journaling. Don't rely on decision-making in the heat of craving. Pre-decide. Number 5, strengthen your prefrontal cortex. Meditation improves impulse control and increases activity in the prefrontal cortex. Delayed gratification training helps too. Simple practices like postponing small pleasures, waiting before checking your phone, finishing a task before rewarding yourself, rebuild neural control circuits. You're training your stop system. Number 6, track progress in weeks, not days. Your brain did not change overnight. It will not reset overnight. Most people relapse because they expect dramatic results in 7 days. Think in 30, 60, 90-day windows. Gradual improvement is still improvement. And remember this, the goal is not perfection. The goal is neural recovery. When you stop attacking yourself and start supporting your biology, the cycle weakens. Not because you're stronger, but because your brain is healing. But here's something most people don't realize. Porn addiction doesn't just affect dopamine. It directly impacts testosterone levels, motivation, confidence, and even how you show up in relationships. And if you don't understand that connection, you're only seeing half the picture.